Attention musicians of all levels. It's not always easy picking out a song by ear. Sometimes you need a little help. Well, I have the app for you. Whether you're a professional musician or a beginner, Ultimate Guitar is an amazing app. For just $2.99, you get the chords and tabs on guitar, bass, or ukulele for over 1 million songs. They're all available at your fingertips. You also get tools like a tuner, metronome, chord library, lessons, videos, and more. You can find out any song you want. It also has like transpose button. It has auto scroll that you can change the speed to so you can play along with the song. A lot of the songs have the lyrics there so you can sing along with them. Ultimate Guitar is an amazing app. Just go to ultimateguitar.com or download the app to your phone today and start playing. Start playing any song you want. Ultimate Guitar, that's the place for you. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here is your host,
All right, hello, I'm Johnny, I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys have all had a good week, whatever it is you did this week. I've had a good week. Monday, I did my last few podcast interviews for the year. Yeah, I usually double down in November so that way I don't have to prep and do interviews and book interviews and stuff in December. I can have like a few weeks off where I'm not like running around trying to get ready to do a podcast interview. It takes a lot to do them, so it's nice to actually like take a little break for a few weeks. I'll still be doing these intros live and in the time that they're done. You know what I mean? Anyway, gang, I have had a really good week. Tuesday and Wednesday, I got to be in the studio with Austin Music Foundation Artist Development Program artists, the Dead Coats. They were in there recording in the bubble, recording 2 songs that are going on our Generation Next album that comes out, I think, in January. We still got a couple more artists to record, but so far we've done Poet Hawkins, which I got to play on. It was super fun. El Combo Oscuro came out. Both of those came out really great. And the Dead Coats, which are absolutely fantastic. I didn't get to hear the rough mixes yet or the final mixes, but it was a lot of fun, and they kicked ass. Lauren Warner from the Dead Coats is a fucking rock star. If you don't know them, get out there, find them on the social medias and stuff. I think they're playing this weekend, so you might want to find out if they're playing. Gang, I would like to tell you about a podcast that I listened to this week. I mean, I've been listening to it since it came out. I was actually on it. Shine Light Podcasts is the name of like the umbrella, and the series is called Everybody Has a Jeff Buckley Story, and it's put together by my dear friend Jeff Haley. He does the interviews and stuff. My friend Chris Searles helps with the production from Biointegrity. These are 2 really old friends of mine from the band Twang Twang Shaka Boom, and it's not because I was on it, but because this podcast is just really well done. It's really thoughtful. These guys really put a lot into their love for Jeff Buckley and finding all of these amazing people they could talk to about it, like people who got to play with him, people who were affected by him, people who got to see him. Like Jeff Buckley's like a real, he's one of those guys. That's what happens, you know, like you die young and then you never get old. And so there's this beautiful version of you. Not only that, he was like another worldly musician, like the way that Prince is. Like what he was doing was on a different level than most of us are doing it on. And I'm serious. Like I'm not saying he's better than everyone, but in a way he kind of is. There's a connection to his music and sort of this angelic thing that was going on within him that was coming through him and through his music. But anyway, they got to the season finale, which is, I think, episode 9. It's a 2-parter, and it has Jeff Buckley's drummer, Matt Johnson. And Matt Johnson not only played with Jeff Buckley, but he went on to play with John Mayer. He went on to play with Rufus Wainwright. He went on to play with St. Vincent. He's a very, very amazing drummer, and he lives here in Bastrop. And I was hoping to get to talk to him, but I'll be honest with you, after Jeff Haley's conversation with him, the 2-parter, I was just floored. I don't know what I'd talk to him about. It is a deep, beautiful conversation. It's the kind of thing that I would hope to always have when I'm doing a podcast. These 2 guys go deep in music, spirituality, and life, all combined. It's all interwoven. And Jeff comes in and out through the whole thing. It's not all about Jeff Buckley, but he goes in and out through the whole thing. Shine Light Podcast. Everybody has a Jeff Buckley story. Episode 9, Part 1 and 2 with Matt Johnson. Absolutely amazing conversation. Kudos to you, my friend Jeff Haley, for being a great podcaster. Great podcaster. Gang, I want to remind you that next Friday, December 16th, Skyrocket, the band, will be playing at Antone's, the legendary nightclub Antone's, here in Austin, Texas. Go to skyrockettheband.com. Get some tickets. Come on out. Come on out and see the band, man. It's a very good time there. It's our last show here in Austin of the year. We'll be coming back next year with some good shows. Got some big stuff to tell you about. It's going to be a good year next year, 2023, for Skyrocket. It's going to be a good year. I'm telling you. December 16th, Friday, Antone's, next Friday. Get out there and do it. Gang, I want to tell you about Lauri Radio. Have you heard about this? It's an internet radio station. Well, let me tell you all about it. LauriRadio.com. That's where you can find it. LAURI radio.com. Lauri Radio is the first all-female radio station streaming live from Austin, Texas, celebrating Women's History Month 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. All like full-on rock and roll, a lot of independent female-led bands or all-female bands. No crybaby tunes. They play a Joan Jett song at the top of every hour. And check this out. They're an internet radio station, but they pay royalties via Sound Exchange. Believe it or not. They pay royalties. Yeah, they have specialty radio stations, Bloody Ripper Radio on Fridays and Saturdays, which is like ska and punk from Australia. Insane. Fridays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. They have a Rebel Girl Reset Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. so you can get a little bit more of a laid back vibe other than the normal rock and roll that's playing on there. I've been listening to the radio station. I found it. I don't know. I saw Lauri. Maybe somebody I knew reposted one of Lauri's posts last year, or earlier this year, maybe, and I clicked on it, checked it out, saw what it was about, thought it was really cool, listened to a little bit of it, and went like, shit, man, this is really cool. Started following her, started meeting some friends that were like, hey, have you checked out this Lauri Radio? I'm like, yeah. So as the time has gone on, I thought like, man, maybe I should have this Lauri on my show. I didn't even know if she lived in Austin or not. So I reached out. And I was like, hey, do you want to come on my podcast? And she said, yeah. So, gang, my guest today is Lauri Pearson from Lauri Radio, LauriRadio.com. We have a really great conversation, man. She's an amazing person. You know, she's doing this all herself. And she's paying artists royalties for every time she spins a song. Like, not a lot of people do that, especially in this day and age when you can get away with it on the internet. But she's kicking it old school. Why? Because she comes from the world of radio. Late 80s, early 90s, she was working in the radio. That's what she was doing. She was an on-air personality. You can hear it when she's on the Lauri Radio. When she comes on there, you know it's her. She's a pro. She's a pro on the microphones. We have such a great conversation. So she did radio, but her dream was to work at a record company, and that's what she ended up doing. And she got to work at labels and do all this kind of stuff. And she moved to Austin, lives in Round Rock, and decided like, hey, man, nobody's doing a 24-hour, all-female like indie rock and roll based radio station. I'm going to do that. She has comedy bits on there. Now that it's Christmas, she's playing Christmas songs on there. Listen, it's so fun to listen to. It's nice also in this time when we are always just choosing the songs that we're going to listen to. You know what I mean? We live in such an on-demand society and culture here in America, the way that we consume our entertainment, that it's nice to sometimes have someone introduce you to some new stuff. And Lauri's really great at that. Actually, it's not just on LauriRadio.com. It's also an app now. So it's available as an app. Go to LauriRadio.com. See if they have it. She said they had it on Android, but it was coming on Apple. Maybe it's out on Apple now. I'm not quite sure yet. Go to LauriRadio.com for all of your Lauri Radio needs. Lauri Pearson and I have a great, great conversation. She is an amazing person with an amazing vision. And I think everyone should get out there and check it out. At least go out there and listen to LauriRadio.com. And before you do that, listen to my conversation with the incomparable, extremely cool Lauri Pearson from LauriRadio.com. Let's get down. I was trying to get the parameters of what the station is. It's not like Lilith there.
No.
You would play Amy Mann tunes, but like stuff from her first couple of records that had more
That's a good. That's a,
rock and roll, but maybe not the sad piano stuff.
No crybaby songs is what it says on my site. Nothing against crybaby songs.
No.
And I'm the crier anyway. I'm the town crier. I will cry for everything, good things, bad things. I'm moved to tears almost every day for something.
Really?
But yeah, but not in an over emotionalized way. Just kind of, oh God, like you just sense things, right?
Yeah.
But no crybaby tunes. No like, oh please don't go.
Yeah.
Oh no, that.
So okay. So let's just figure this out. Wait.
Yeah.
LauriRadio.com. Obviously, I did an intro already, and now you and I are talking.
Hi.
What made you want to do that? And set those parts? Like, what made you want to start a radio station?
Right. My own radio station.
Your own radio station. Literally your name.
Well, there's a whole bunch of stories in there.
Okay.
But
Let's go.
I know, right?
I got the thing recording.
my background's in radio.
Okay.
You know, it's gotten radio 1991 and a half, 92.
Where and doing what?
San Antonio.
All right.
Working at Kiss FM.
So that's rock station, right?
At the time, it wasn't.
Okay.
Okay, it was rock, and then it changed format, and then it went back to rock.
Okay. And
but anyway, yeah, got started on the air, and
so you were on there. Mm-hmm. Well, you do have a nice voice that's you talking on the radio show.
That's me.
Right?
Yes, doing the breaks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's kind of in my blood a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Wanted to get into the music business and didn't want to be on the air at all, but I was taking radio, television, film classes, and then business classes because there wasn't a music business degree at the time.
A UTSA or something? Okay.
UTSA and
their coach of their team was at our show Saturday night.
oh, that's cool.
I think he sent someone up to tell us that. It was weird. It's a little he wanted
Tell them I'm here.
He wanted to be pointed out, like, "Hey, we're dedicating this to the coach of the thing." Hey, it's me, man. Yeah.
Oh wow, you shouldn't.
Sorry. So you went to UTSA.
Well, San Antonio College was where I took my
Okay.
radio, television, film classes. It was the RTF degree there. But anyway, I got in radio and then worked. My goal was to work at a major label, which I did that after that, right? And then came back from New York and got back into radio. That's my history's in radio to get to the point. But
Sorry about the vapor.
I don't care. Okay. People like to hear that, which is true. It's not the motivator that got me started, but it is a touch point from my past in radio. My very first program director said to me, we don't play more than 2 female artists back to back.
Correct.
Or much less more than a couple an hour because the audience can't tell the difference between them. And I thought at the time, because I've been asked, like, well, didn't you just get like crazy over that? I thought he meant the listener in general is dumb because a lot of program directors kind of have that attitude.
Right.
But he didn't mean that. He meant that truly, like, all women artists kind of sound alike.
Yeah.
But I realized that in retrospect. But I'll tell you the story that happened. It was cool. It actually happened right up here at Riverside and 35.
Nice.
Right? So a friend of mine, Ray Vaughn. Do you know Ray Vaughn?
I know Ray Vaughn.
Legendary, awesome person.
Awesome.
Love Ray Vaughn. I worked with Ray at Columbia Records.
Oh, really?
He was a local rep, and I was up at Columbia.
When was that? Like in the 90s?
90s. Yeah.
He's that guy. There's nothing that guy doesn't do.
And nobody he doesn't know. And most people have a story where he ends up naked or in a body of water or bruised.
No, mine, he told me I wasn't a very good businessman at a grocery store.
Who told you?
Ray Vaughn. He was right.
Yeah.
He was right.
Yeah. He doesn't mince words. He's good at everything, that Ray Vaughn.
Yeah, he just pointed it out. He's like, let me just tell you, it's not very good at business, but it's good seeing you, buddy. Later days.
Wow.
It was over. He has the band, and Ray Vaughn, and I'm in this band, Skyrocket, and we did a show where they had 2 bands facing off, and they're like, Ray Vaughn's playing over there, and I went over there looking for him, and I'm like, where the hell is Ray Vaughn? They're like, he's not here, he's in L.A. So I was like, you were in L.A. and your band was playing. He's like, yeah, I had a better paying gig in L.A., so I got some subs, and I was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, do you have subs in Skyrocket? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what's your cut? And I was like, nothing.
Cut?
That's when he was like,
oh, you're a terrible business person.
Like, wait, you're not making money when some dude's making money on your back? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what are you, stupid? And I was like, yeah, I am. I'm sorry.
I guess I just didn't know.
Okay,
it's a music thing.
So back to this.
Back.
Rave On.
And
Riverside and 35.
is this recorded?
Yes.
Okay, I think we're talking about two different Rave Ons.
Oh.
My Rave On is a music industry person. But
Yeah.
Rave On is a very popular music name, apparently.
It's interesting.
But so, like, Rave On I'm like, Rave On's in a
I
band?
gotta go back and take that out.
Do you want to start over?
No.
Rave On.
Leave that mistake in there because it's funny.
It's funny. And I'm like,
Yeah.
when you said a band, because he works bands.
Yeah.
He represents bands.
Okay, so you guys are at the corner of
No,
Riverside.
he wasn't. He
Oh.
just texted me.
Oh.
He was like, "Hey, so and so is changing format. You ought to go listen to them and see if they have any." Because every time a station changes format, they blow out a bunch of people, and you can possibly get a job. So I'm like, I'm always looking for a job in radio.
Okay.
Right. And so I go, "Oh, okay, thanks." So I went and listened. I mean, they did a whole name change, a whole image change, everything. This station, and I go, "Okay, I'll listen." So I get in the car, and I put it on the station, and they were playing Billie Eilish. And I go, oh, okay, well, that's not super different from what they were playing before. I wonder what they're doing that's different. And they changed, again, everything different. And so then I kept listening. I'm sitting there at the light, heading south. Anyway, and then they played Ariana Grande, right? And I go, so not different from what they were doing. What is possibly, why would you do a whole rebranding if you're going to keep the format the same? The rebranding included a name change with a woman's name in it, right?
Oh.
And so I go, oh my God. And it was like a lightning bolt moment.
Like
I
a
go,
Bob or whatever FM.
Yeah,
but like
a woman's name.
Lauri Radio.
Well, and it was
Right.
it was a woman's name on the station. And I go, oh my God. It's an all-female format. I'm like, why didn't anyone do this before? It's brilliant. I mean, I got so excited about this, and I go, well, the music, but still, like, wow, the concept is amazing. The possibilities are endless, and if you do it right, it's gonna be so good, and if you do it wrong, it won't be. But I was just thinking when my brain just starts spinning, and then they played Maroon 5. And I go, what the hell? Okay, well, wah, wah. And so they hadn't really changed the format. They just changed the name of the station to represent one of the owner's daughters, whatever.
Oh, God.
So, and you were right when you were saying earlier. So, but that stuck with me, that moment. Like, that rest of the day, I was like, oh my God, somebody needs to do this. So I start calling my radio friends and my, industry people-ish type friends. And I go, hey, my God, I've got this great idea. Has this ever been done? I don't think it's been done. I'd never heard of it. Have you ever heard of it being done? I got so fired up. And they were like, half of them were like, well, that's dumb. And then the other half were like, no, that's a cool idea. But, how are you going to, how are you going to sell that idea? You need to build a concept. So I go, okay. So I go about the business of building a concept station. And I started that way. And it was originally called Jane Radio.
Okay.
Because Jane is an everyday Jane name, right? Anybody could be Jane.
Right.
And so it started out as Jane, and it was going to be an all-female format, but slightly different conceptually from what I'm doing now. It started out where I was playing Amy Mann and, like the Chicks and Lucinda Williams and all kinds of stuff. No Ariana Grande, but no Billie Eilish.
It's not like she's missing any airplay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I was like, there was a vibe. What I was looking for was a vibe.
Yeah.
Like I said, no crybaby tunes, but it's basically a song that makes you feel better when you listen to it. And that can be different for everyone, but it's definitely more like not a motivational thing, but like just songs that have some level of, I don't know, the word empowerment is so overused, but like you listen to a song and it makes you feel better lyrically, or the structure of the song, or something about the tune itself. I'm like, that's what I want. I want somebody to come and listen and not worry about being brought down on this station. So I'm going to play comedy bits by female comedians and and movie clips that are funny and all this kind of junk, right? One-liners from various things, and that's what I'm going to do. And again, originally the concept had more genres than it has now. And in the year and a half that I've been doing, almost 2 years in February, it's crazy to even think about.
Wow.
I've really narrowed it down because I started noticing that the music, and it's not my personal playlist. It's really not. It feels like it is. Anyway, Jane was taken. I found out that Jane Radio was taken with a different spelling with someone else. And there's also a Jane Radio show on Sirius.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. No, especially not another Jane.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, shit. And I couldn't come up with another name. Brooklyn is my daughter's name. Brooklyn Radio, Brooklyn FM, taken.
Yeah, of course it is.
Lola, my mom's name. Lola Radio, taken. And, this friend of mine was like, just use Lauri. And I go, God, I hate my name. I do. It's just
I like it.
You're sweet.
I think it sounds good, Lauri Radio.
It kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit, but like it's taken. I still see it, and I go, ugh, like why?
Sure.
It's like a holding name.
Yeah.
But now it's still Lauri Radio.
Yeah.
But and I mean, not to overplay that, but I was just like, I wanted something that represented a larger body conceptually, besides my name. So it's my name, but it still represents something larger conceptually. But anyway, as I've listened and as I've really fine-tuned it, so now I think it's safe to say that it's alternative, mostly alternative or indie artists, a lot of punk, a lot of rock, and that's really it. Day to day, I have special programming that I have throughout the week on various times, usually on the weekend, that have other kinds of formats.
Yeah, that Friday and Saturday is the Bloody Ripper show.
Oh, Bloody Ripper Radio Show.
Bloody Ripper Radio Show, yeah.
That's intense. Now that is all punk and alternative, and it is it's insane.
Really?
Right? You think, punk and alternative, sure, yeah. But you listen to Bloody Ripper Radio Show is a full hour of all Australian punk and alternative tune. Just Australian and all femme artists. Punk and alternative tune. It gets pretty gritty.
Yeah.
It's really gritty. They're serious over there about their punk rock.
Dude, I don't even, I've never heard an Australian punk rock band, but I'm like, why does there need to be one? They're already like punk rock anyway. That almost sounds like overkill. The guys jump out of the speakers and just punch you in the face.
Basically. Ammo and
the ladies.
Sniffers.
I mean, same. Everyone's tough as shit there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Ammo and the Sniffers. Have you heard of
Yeah.
Ammo? They're Australian.
Oh, they are? Okay,
Yeah.
they're tough as shit.
She's
Yeah.
Amy Taylor is her name. She's about this big, little bitty thing, but a feisty one.
Yeah. I tried to, didn't they have a South by a few years ago? It was like they were like one of the big buzz bands here. Yeah, I was trying to get them on the show and stuff during that time. I remember that.
Oh, they were at Hotel Vegas.
Oh, right.
I missed that show.
Yeah.
And oh man, I would have loved to have seen
So you still go to shows all the time?
As often as I can.
Are you married and you have a child, or you just
I have a daughter.
Single mom? How old is your daughter?
16.
Okay.
Getting ready to turn 17.
What does she think of all this?
She's
Is
like,
she
"Oh, that's
inspired
cool."
by it? I mean, is she like my mom's super cool, or is she like, oh, my mom's like, oh. You know what I mean? You never know.
We have a really good relationship. She's sort of my foxhole buddy, or I'm her foxhole buddy. I'm not sure. She's been through all kinds of help, but quite the badass in her own right. And I think she respects what I do. When I told her I was coming over here that's cool, Mom. Like, she's supportive of what I do, but she's not like, yeah, rock and roll. Like, I don't think she knows. She probably knows a few of the tunes that I play. And it's funny because we'll be in the car, because now she's learning how to drive, and she'll have her playlist on. And I'm like, oh, the Julie Ruin, that's cool. Like, I'll recognize tunes that she has on her.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm like, wow, like
She might be Shazamming stuff. Yeah, on your show.
I'm constantly Shazamming. Shazam is my friend.
Yeah, it's the best, isn't
Oh
it?
my God, yeah. I've added so many songs to my playlist from Shazam. Just being somewhere and going, oh my God,
Yeah.
what's that?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, me too.
Coffee shops.
The art of radio, it's interesting. So you got in on air in a time when radio, Johnny Walker just died. Did you see that?
No.
It was a guy from KLBJ. He was a 90s guy. He was like the drive time guy for like 16 years.
Yeah. Wow.
And he told you, the last DJ, like the guy that tells you what the cool thing is to do this weekend. If you need a coat, you're going to need to bring an umbrella.
Jacket.
Like you develop a relationship.
Totally.
Or you used to. I don't think, except for like with KUTX still has some personalities. And Sun Radio has some personalities, but there's a lot of robot stations. There's not a lot of connection. There's not somebody introducing you to cool, neato stuff. as much anymore, and that whole culture has kind of gone away. And what I got, sorry to talk so long about this, but
No, go. I love this.
what I really enjoyed out of listening to your radio station, since I can't remember when I came across you. I was on Instagram. You were in somebody's thing, and I saw, what's Lauri Radio? So I clicked on it, and then I went to it, and then I was like, oh, cool. And so then I just kept on seeing what you were doing. I just thought, like, this is really cool. Somebody's doing something, and they're obviously doing it because they love music. They love people hearing music. Like, I heard a bunch of new music. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, nice.
I didn't hear the same song over and over again. Like, if you turn on a rock station, you got to hear More Than a Feeling, and it's like, I don't need to hear that shit anymore. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And now we've all gotten with streaming and all that shit. We're all listening. No one's introducing us to new stuff anymore. So I have a new a new music guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
nice
thank
to hear, and you play music that, like, everything was worth hearing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is all, it's all me. It's all curated. I pick every single song. And I do have a music scheduling software. It's called Music Master. And I've got thousands of songs. I think it's over 4,000 songs in my, and every week I add a tune. Every week.
Okay.
Sometimes it's an older song. And there's so many artists. Oh my God.
So many.
So many in my genre, like, the punk and alternative, whatever. But I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying before that? Well, I had a point to make. What was my?
I don't know. I'm a fan of yours, is what I was going to say, for
that.
no reason except for the fact that you're
the
a
Music
cool
Master.
person.
Thank you.
So the Music Master releases.
It schedules it.
Okay.
It's basically, and they get real upset when you say it shuffles it. It doesn't shuffle it. Like, it has categories. Like, I've got 7 or 8 categories that are constantly in rotation, and every hour is different. So, like, I try to make it so that if I've got 50 songs in one category, and I don't want them to all schedule at the same time. So today, 10:30 in the morning, if you heard, I don't know, the Dolly Rots, because I'm awesome, I wouldn't want you to hear it, at 10:30 tomorrow morning either. I wouldn't want you to hear it again until like Thursday at a random time when you probably wouldn't be listening.
Yeah.
So I have to be real careful about that, because that's a pet peeve. And most radio stations have 300 songs max rotating at any given time. And so, I have less than 4 point something thousand rotating, but it's certainly more than 200 or 300. But that's why you hear the same songs over and over, because they're just playing the same songs over and over again.
Yeah. And what's interesting is having somebody start this that's not just a fan of music, but somebody that comes from both sides, both radio and the label side, is that you pay royalties via Sound Exchange.
Yeah.
Which is very, very rare in this internet.
It is. Well, I know. God forbid. Because I also did, licensing stuff for Capital Blue Note. And so I'm well aware of how much an artist should be getting paid, which is far less than what the artist deserves.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and with streaming, it's shameful. That's why I always buy merch, and that's why I always try and see shows. If one of, quote unquote, my bands, a band that I play, is coming to town, I will move heaven and high water to get there, because, and try and, talk about it, and talk about it on the air, post about it, buy the merch. It's not much. Just do it, man. Put your money where your love is.
Have people been approaching you yet? Like, hey, will you play my thing?
Oh,
or
yeah.
Will you play my artist thing? Or, That's great.
That makes my day. Who was the first band that did that? I think they reached out to me. It's been so long. It's Broken Baby. Broken Baby is a band from LA.
Yeah.
Amber Bollinger is the lead vocalist, and they reached out to me, and then they did liners for me. Hey, it's Broken Baby. You're listening to Lauri Radio. Oh my God. I got so geeked up about it, and they're sending me songs. Hey, what do you think about this? And and then they came through. I finally got to meet them a few months ago, here in Austin, and it just made my friggin' day. Anyway, just those kinds of things. But yeah, I got artists reach out. There's an open forum type of invitation thing on my website, lauriradio.com, that you can just, please, my God, if you're an artist and want to hear you know, want me to play your tune? Yeah, send it to me. I will listen to everything. I can't promise to add everything, but I listen to everything. I love it. And you know, asterisk, just because I don't add it for my station doesn't mean I don't love it. Because I get stuff all the time that I love, but it's probably not right. Like it's a little too mellow, or I've gotten stuff that's been way too metal too, like off the charts metal, which I dig, but it just doesn't blend. There are a couple tunes on there that mean metal-ish, but like sometimes that's just a bit much. This is the production. It just sounds weird sometimes.
Have you heard this band, the Dead Coats, from here?
Yeah, I love the Dead Coats.
Yeah. I'm working with them in the Austin. I work with Austin Music Foundation.
Yeah.
And we have this thing called the Artist Development Program, and they're in it this year.
Oh, man, they've come a lot. This past year, they've had a lot of recognition.
Yeah. They got Best Rock Band in Austin.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
They just got a new bass player, amazing female bass player. She just started playing, too. She's a real proclivity to that instrument and music.
Nice. Yeah, I saw them. They opened for the Dolly Rots.
Oh, they did?
Right out of pandemic. And I asked them about that. I was like, do y'all know? And then she was like, no, this is from... We had a connection at the venue. Now I can't remember the name of the venue where it was right over there off Red River. She said they invited us. It wasn't a Dolly Rot thing. You know, they're not really a Dolly Rot type opening band. But anyway, it was one of those like right after pandemic. So maybe like 7 people, 10 people. Everybody was still afraid to get out and everybody's standing super far away.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I was like right up at the front of the stage. And she walks out and just starts wailing.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, who's that? And she's intense. She's awesome.
She's super intense.
Yeah, but I love that. I love that energy. Yeah.
You know, it's cool. I went to go work on some songs with them at their house.
Oh, nice.
And their house is so fucking rock and roll. Like, I was so...
Rock and roll like what?
Just empty. Well, yeah, you know that they were taking shit off of the walls to chop shit up at some point. I mean, they're just very rock. Like you walk in, you're like, okay, cool. I like this.
Yeah.
Like kids in their 20s, just like
totally
empty beer
living the
cans and
life.
vodka bottles. Just like you're like, fuck yeah, dude. People are rock and roll in this place.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I miss that. I don't want to live like that, but I want to. I just want to make sure that keeps going.
It is, and it's definitely alive and well in Austin.
Definitely,
for sure.
Definitely. Are there other Austin bands that you've sort of like? Just because there is a pool here of bands, are there any that you've gotten to? Like, are you like you see the Blue Bonnets?
Love the Blue Bonnets.
Yeah.
Play the Blue Bonnets. Pleasure Venom.
Oh yeah, Pleasure Venom was on our program last year. I love that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Audrey, that's
they're
another
awesome.
fucking unbelievable.
Jeez. They opened
Powerhouse.
for L7. Did you see that show?
No, I didn't.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Another holy crap moment.
Yeah.
Also, Sweet Spirit. Giant Dog.
Yeah.
I mean, Sabrina Ellis, come on.
Come on.
I have not seen them live.
Oh, you've never seen them live? Oh, wow.
I know.
It's really good.
I know.
It's really exciting. She's scary. I saw her live when she came here to do the podcast, and I was like scared of her at first, and then she got really mad because I'd been making soup all day because it was real cold.
Scared of her.
And she was like, your house smells like soup. I'm only going to do this for like 40 minutes before I want to puke.
You don't like my soup, man?
I know what she means. It was soupy. It's like when your whole house just smells like soup.
Oh.
Like I was making soup, and I thought like, oh, anybody would be happy. Hey, you want some soup after the thing? It'll probably be ready. She's like, fuck no.
Fuck
Get
no, I don't
me
want
outta
that.
here.
It
Yeah.
reeks. Well, I had a bright idea one time to make a roast and to put it on at night so that it would be ready the next day because I sleep late, left to my own devices. I go, oh, lunchtime. I'll wake up and it'll be ready. I'll put it on the 8-hour. Let me tell you, that was the worst sleep of my life. That... Don't like Sabrina said, reeked up the whole nasty roasty smell. I'm like, that's not what I want to smell in the middle of the night. Turns out not delicious.
Sorry.
Side note, but anyway.
Side note. So
yeah, local bands. Yeah, I think that's there's more. I'm
those
sure,
are some huge ones.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have a huge pool of talent, like you said, here in Austin. Yeah.
When you're looking for music, how do you find it? What do you go like sound in the sounds like thing in Spotify? Like, what do you do?
God, it's so funny. I never use Spotify. My daughter makes fun of me. She's like, how do you not listen to Spotify? And it's I don't know. There's something I usually find it out and about, which is, I don't know.
Like when you mean out and about?
I'm somewhere at a coffee shop or
And
like at a
you Shazam it. You put
I'm
your phone in there.
Shazamming
Yeah.
things. Also, just artists who follow and comment on other artists' stuff.
Uh-huh.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
handbills and
Yeah.
posters. I'm walking down some, whatever street, and there's a handbill. I will look and see, and same with the more artists you follow, the more they follow, and then the more you can get exposed to other artists from other cities. And like now that I've started doing this whole Bloody Ripper radio show, there is a ton of international artists that start to come through my feed.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
So yeah, did we finish talking about the Bloody Ripper? That's some intensity. Yeah. So just stuff like that. Like, it's not all social, and a lot of it is, some artists reach out to me, they hear about me, and I always ask, how did you hear about me? Because I don't advertise, which
Right.
I need to consider doing. But or I'll like, I saw you promoting Faya, or I saw you doing something, and I followed the trail and I found you, and here's my tune, and it's always a happy day when I go, I love it, I can add it, it starts tomorrow. And that's also the cool thing about being in radio is like, I don't have to get it, approved by anybody.
Yeah.
If I like it, I will. I have been so excited about a song that I've heard, like whatever, let's just say here, and I Shazam it, I buy it, I buy my music I don't get it for free. Occasionally
I buy a lot of music.
an artist will send me like, here's my MP3, and I go, awesome, cool, thank you. But I never ask. I will go to, sorry, I'm blinding you with a reflection on my phone. I will go to Bandcamp, or I will go to iTunes and buy what I want to play. Because it's, 99 cents. Come on, $1.29, just buy it. So anyway, but I will be so excited. I will Shazam something. I will buy it then and there, the link to iTunes, and as soon as I get home, I'll upload it, and I will sometimes just drop it wherever, like during the day. Like I'll get home, and I'll go, oh my God, I want to hear that right now on the air. And I will just put it in and start listening. Like it's in rotation, poof.
Do you have some kind of thing on is there some kind of program that manipulates the compression, like that simulates the compression that you get from a radio, from hearing it? You know how the radio kind of compresses everything, kind of like it makes it explode a little bit?
Yep, that's not on my end. Oh, and we were talking about Sound Exchange. When I first started getting, there's three different platforms. There's the music scheduling software, which it's a subscription that you pay for, Music Master. And then there's the automation platform, which is basically like the actual radio station aspect of it. And then there's the streaming platform. And it's the streaming platform that I had to kind of shop around a little bit for. And I chose the one I use, Live 365, because they pay the Sound Exchange fees for everything. Like if I drop a Whitney Cummings, comedian thing, she gets paid for that.
That's cool.
Because there were some other ones that were a little cheaper.
Yeah.
But I would have had to figure all that out and do my
Yeah, that wouldn't be
reports.
any
And I
fun.
go,
No.
I don't need to do reports. I just need all these things pinged, and the artist getting paid the fraction of a penny that they get paid when I play their song.
Yeah.
But, at least they're getting credit for something.
How do you find the comedy bits? Just for your favorite comedians?
No, I had to go digging for that too. It's just, I will say, it's been difficult. There's not a one resource for like female comedians, by example, or LGBTQ comedians. You can do a search, and it'll be just one person's opinion about 3 or 4 that they like. So it takes a lot of like really digging it up. But no, and with that, I just keep digging, looking for Netflix specials or Comedy Central or whatever. Comedy Central female comedian. You just have to do all these crazy searches.
Yeah.
And then download their stuff and cut it up and drop it. All that
Jeez.
stuff. It's just all the stuff.
Yeah.
All the radio stuff.
I mean, how much time do you spend on this a week? Don't lie to me.
I'm not. Well, like I will loiter and tinker.
Sure.
It's probably 3 to 4 hours a day. Which
It's a solid part-time job.
it's a solid part-time job.
Yeah.
And I usually do it in the evening.
It's 7 days a week, too.
Oh, 7 days a week.
It's not 5 days a week.
I just started not doing breaks on a Sunday because I'm like, I need a day where I don't have to show prep and do breaks.
Okay, so how do you do that? Tell me about show prep and breaks. How do you have to sit there and every day you do them on a daily?
I do breaks every day, Monday through Saturday. Saturday it's just noon to 6, but every other day it's 10 to 6. So like I just get on and talk about whoever, and that was Sweet Spirit, Austin-based band, Sabrina Ellis on lead vocal. They just did a gig at Hotel Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
A little thing coming up. Jolly Rots, they got a brand new album coming out. That kind of thing.
Okay.
Just kind of talk about the artists. And that is the tricky part.
You did give a little bit of info on a couple of the artists where I was like, oh, this is cool.
I tried to.
And I like your voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try to be informative, but it's a little tricky because, we're talking about like, the old time DJ or like, the DJs that you feel like in your own town.
Yeah.
Your friends.
Yeah.
There's only so much that I can do. I mean, Austin does have a little bit of like, it's cool that she's in Austin, but it's an international accessibility kind of situation where I can't give a weather forecast.
Right. I was just using that as
but
an
like by
example.
example,
Yeah.
like I could talk about South by Southwest
Yeah.
or whatever because it's cool, but I can't be like, hey, there's a
down on 6th Street. Yeah.
I mean, you can.
No, it'd be
because
dumb.
it's interesting, but you can't get too inside
Yeah.
baseball about it.
Yeah.
So mostly I go, well, the whole thing is the artist. It's just all about the artist. So I'll just talk about the artist because where else are you going to find out that Sweet Spirit is from Austin?
When did it occur to you to make it your life music? Like, how old were you? And do you remember, was it a moment or was it just a series of songs?
It's just always been a part of my life.
Yeah.
We were talking about our common friend, Chris Schultz.
Yeah.
And one of the first conversations that she and I ever had was about synesthesia. Do you know about synesthesia? Synesthesia is it's something that a certain percentage of the population experiences when they listen to music. And basically what happens when the brain is developing, the wires kind of intermesh. And so when we basically have a visceral experience listening to music. Sometimes it's, so, like Chris, I think hers are flavors. Like she hears certain notes or sounds or songs or names and they taste like something. Okay. Or they're a certain color. Like, because first thing she asked me, she goes, how do you spell your name? With an I or an IE? And I go, an I. She goes, okay, that's a different color. Like she just,
oh, wow.
Right. And there's a sound thing. And but mine's more visceral. So, but like music, there's no such thing as background music. I can't, if music is going on, and plus I have ADHD. So like I can talk to you and I am so listening to that song right now. Like, and I'm like, oh, I need to Shazam that. It's like, for me, it's always been that way. I couldn't understand how anybody could not give their full attention to this magical thing that was happening out of the radio. I was the kid with the transistor from Radio Shack under my pillow at night. I had to have it. And it wasn't always rock and roll, it was friggin' Seals and Crofts and Barry Manilow and whatever else I was listening to is, the Eagles. But it's just always been, there's just something.
Seals and Crofts.
Hey, man. Really love to see you tonight. I mean, there's some great tunes out there.
No, it's not them, is it?
Isn't that Seals and Crofts?
No, that's somebody else. I'm not talking about
England Dan and John Ford Coley.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn, okay, Seals and Crofts, help me out.
That's good. I'm glad you corrected yourself.
Yeah.
That was really amazing.
That's embarrassing that I got it wrong in the first
Yeah,
place.
at first I was like, maybe I shouldn't have had her on the show.
Right, and then when you said that, I was like, yeah, he's right. Shit.
Well,
But now I want to know Seals and Crofts.
Summer Breeze.
Make me feel fine.
Yeah, and some other stuff. The flutes and very... Did you ever sing?
Not professionally. Just to myself.
Okay. So you were feeling music.
Yeah, really early on. And it took me a while before I realized that not everybody did. Because you're a kid, you don't know. Like, oh, that's my experience.
Yeah.
How is that different from anyone else's? And then I found out there were people that don't really like music. And I go, I don't know what is that? How can do something wrong with you?
I'm related to people like that's fucking weird.
Thank you.
Brothers and sisters, like
That's fucking weird.
it is fucking weird.
I don't understand those people.
I don't understand it at all.
Or, okay, same thing. You take someone like that to a show, like where you are there's no better experience than a live show.
There's not.
There's not. I have one. But
Okay.
it's not better. But it's like, holy shit, this is like mainlining. So when you're at a show with someone like that, and they clap like this, like the golf clap, you can't hear it because it's quiet. That's the point. Like why are you can't know. I don't understand how you can't just be taken over by music, live music, in front of you.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, that was it. It's been an early. It was as soon as I heard it, I knew. I mean, I was what is this thing?
Yeah. What was the first concert you went to? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
1981,
Okay.
Laredo, Texas.
Ooh, nice.
Woo! You're not ready. Judas Priest.
Nice. Oh, dude,
Screaming
that's a
for
great
Vengeance.
place to see them too.
I know. The Coliseum or the Civic Arena. I can't remember what it was called. It was June.
Did you ever know Adrian
81.
Quesada or any of those guys that were down there at the time?
I know a lot of Quesadas.
The dude from Black Pumas, and the and
Oh!
Grupo Fantasma.
Oh my gosh,
Super
yeah.
cool dude. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I don't think I know him personally. I would have to know what high school he went to.
I don't know.
And how old
I
he
can't
is.
recall that.
But yeah, Laredo is a very small town. But yeah, that was Judas Priest.
That's
I was
awesome.
in the last row, couldn't see anything.
That's another thing coming. Yeah. Right.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I was just waiting for that song the whole time.
Yeah.
Such a great. I mean, come on, Judas
Who
Priest.
took you? Who'd you go with?
I went with one of my best friends. I can't remember if it was Susie or Heather, but it was.
Did you wanted to go? That's so.
Oh God, yeah.
What a great. That's a total anti. Because that's one of those bands that at that point dudes were going to see.
Oh yeah, it was total dudes.
Yeah, it was a sausage fest, that show.
Totally.
Yeah, and it's funny that two. How old were you? 16? You said no. 81. No, I'm
that's
giving
about
you a
right.
weird
Let's see.
age.
No, 15 or 16.
Oh.
And my parents were like, sure. I mean,
You look really young.
you are so kind.
No, I'm not.
No, actually, I'm not. I'm a horrible person.
I'm actually hating you for this. I'm not. That's not a compliment. That was angry.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah.
That was said with spite.
Yeah.
You look really young.
I hate you for it. Thank you. Yeah. And the high school years were pretty friggin' rockin'. Ozzy Osbourne. We had to drive up to see Ozzy. We saw him in San Antonio from Laredo. Who else
That's
did I
awesome.
see? Saga.
Oh wait, did you see Ozzy in that year? Because that's the Piss on the Alamo, 81, 82.
It was the year after that. Oh. I think.
I just had Rudy Sarzo on my show.
Oh.
Yeah, it's awesome.
you
2 hours. Yeah,
I need to start hanging around.
it's awesome. He was awesome. It was over Zoom, but it was great. Yeah.
I can't remember. It was the Blizzard of Oz tour.
There was two records were kind of like one thing, right? They were done at the same time, and they just came out within months of each other.
Yeah.
And then Randy died.
Yeah, that's all a blur. I also saw Motley Crue in Laredo.
Okay, so
Motley Crue.
Yeah. Your environment influenced the times obviously, but the Laredo scene
Total heavy metal.
San Antonio,
Rockin'.
El Paso, Corpus Christi's very metal.
Yeah.
It is.
Super metal.
And you were going to see these bands that were that's some pretty heavy shit. Mm-hmm. You weren't going to go see Pat Benatar or Madonna or something like that. Not that Pat Benatar is not heavy, but
No, she's not.
you play Pat Benatar in your.
I
Yeah.
do. I do play Pat. I don't play Madonna though.
No, it doesn't seem like.
I do. I have one of the categories is the rock category.
Yeah.
And she gets played in that. Heart. I mean, it's maybe one every other hour. It's not a lot.
Yeah, I get it.
Well,
It's a rock. Yeah, it's a very specific. That's a very specific Heart. I always equate with a Renaissance festival. And I met them when I was a kid.
nice.
Yeah, I did this interview with Nancy Wilson last year.
Wow.
And it was for a thing. It was for an event. And in it, I have a backstage pass up there of when I met them, and I wanted her to come on and remember me, and then my bit would be to have no idea who she was.
to be and you are. That's awesome.
I know Magic Man, but yeah.
That's funny. Which one are you, Nancy?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So let's go back to this thing. So then you went to RTF school.
Yes.
You got your degree. You went to work at Kiss FM, and then where did you go?
Then, in radio, I got fired because everybody, they changed
moved,
formats and they fired me and they fired everybody. Then I did. I went to Corpus. I was in Corpus for the program director.
C101?
No.
Oh.
I know. Now, C101 is like KISS right now. They're locked in. Somebody has to die before you can get into C101 or KISS, But the program director that I was working for in San Antonio moved to Corpus to work at a station there. Okay. And so he called me. He's like, hey, you just got fired too. You want to come down here and work? At the time, my sister was living in Corpus. Actually, she still is. And so I was like, I hate Corpus, but okay. And, it's a job. What am I going to do? Say no?
Yeah.
So I did. And then once I was in Corpus for a little bit, I was like, I just need to go I need to go to New York and do the thing that I intended to do at the very beginning, which was work for a label. Yeah. Like, this radio thing is great, but I want to work for a label. So I packed my shit up in a U-Haul and sold a lot of it and sold my car. Just drove up to New York. I had a few contacts because, when you're in radio, there was some, I had a particular contact at Columbia Records and I told him, hey, I'm moving up there. And, and he was like, well, what are you going to do? I go, I don't know, work for you. And he goes, oh, you're not moving up here to work for me. And I said, of course I am. But I was just trying to weasel my way in somewhere. And he's like, I will call me when you get up here. So, so I get up there and I called him. And I was like, hey, so I'm here. And, it's just a weird thing in radio. Like, you just think radio people think they make the music world go around. Yeah. And record people think they make the music world go around. But anyway, so I was like, oh, I'm here now. So, hire me. And that did not work. So he's like, I don't have anything. Why don't you? And he had some other suggestions. And I was like, sort of befuddled by the whole thing. But so I started temping. I worked for a temp agency that just farmed me out to record labels.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, I just want label stuff. I don't want anything else. And they're like, okay.
So instead of working for one, you worked for all of them.
I did. I worked for a whole bunch of them.
That's awesome.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Some of them were not so great. But and the funniest part was, I don't want to say his name because he's in kind of some others. Like, there's some deliberation about legal stuff with him.
Sure.
And I don't want to.
You don't have to mention his name.
He's great though. Much anyway. But they were like, okay, so we have another assignment for you. It's a long-term assignment because this person just left. And if you're interested in a long-term, possibly temp to perm situation. I go, yeah, who's it for? It was this guy at Columbia Records. And I go, oh my God, I can't wait to walk into his office going, guess who's here? So I did. And yeah, I did. And then that turned into a full-time job. And I started working, not for him, but in marketing. And so moved across the hall.
What records did you work on?
Well, it wasn't in promotions. It was in marketing. But in marketing, what we were doing was sort of, remember back in the 90s where this is when compilations really started picking up.
Yeah.
And like The Gap and Banana Republic and we did third-party releases.
Sure.
And then we did big contesting for Sony Music and Sony Electronics. And, was it Western Union did this big collaboration contest thing with one of our artists, and there was just a lot of giveaway stuff. So and putting together compilations and getting those things licensed and all that stuff.
Was it Yetnikoff era?
No,
post Yetnikoff.
Post. It was Donnie Einer era.
Donnie Einer. Yeah, I don't know him, but I know the name. I know the stories.
Oh my God, working for Donnie Einer. Now, I didn't work for him directly, but everybody worked for Donnie Einer. When you're on the 25th floor.
Yeah.
You work for Donnie Einer, period, because he was on the 25th floor. And it was one of those rules where, everything that you hear about Donnie Einer is true. Let me just say that you couldn't make up a bad story about him that was worse than what he was. And I mean that respectfully. He was totally in charge, man with the plan, super intimidating, just like,
sure.
The guy with the desk at the far end of the office. Yeah. His voice was deep and booming, and he's Italian and he's tall, and and his brother Jimmy Einer produced Dirty Dancing and a number of other things, Badfinger and Kiss, and the whole family is just music intense, but
show business mob.
Yeah, I won't say anything about that. But he had rules like you couldn't microwave popcorn on the floor because it stunk. You if you didn't answer the phone within 2 rings, you were legit in trouble. You would get written up and get in trouble. He was Mr. Whatever you're doing, if you see he's calling, you hang up and you pick up the phone. There was just this the beatings will continue until morale improves kind of vibe from him. And I say it's badass because I don't. He treated everybody like shit. It wasn't anybody in particular that got treated like that.
Yeah, he was an equal opportunity insulter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You screamer. But nothing bothers me now.
Yeah.
And I came back and worked with some savory characters in morning radio. And like I've worked with, I can work for anyone now. Like, because I realize it's not personal. It's just like, he's just who he is and he's going to scream and that has nothing to do with me. And like, I've sat across from guys who try to play that game, you know, as an equal. Yeah. And I go, I work for Donnie Einer. You don't scare me. Yeah. Like truly. Like, and again, I don't mean that in the disrespect. Everybody bore the wrath of Donnie Einer. Yeah. He's legendary.
I love that. I love those stories. I live for those stories.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
I had the worst. I was on a label that was owned by Lars Ulrich, but in the Sylvia Rohn era of Elektra.
Wow. Okay.
And I had one experience with her that was almost exactly like you know that thing you do, that movie?
Yeah.
Where they meet the president of the label and he says, who the fuck are these guys and why are they talking to me? I felt like that was I felt like that was my experience when I met her at CBGB's at my showcase. Like I started talking too much. Like I was excited about my future.
Yeah.
She was like, I should have been smarter then and not as excited because I just by the look on her face, I should have been like, oh, we're not going to happen, are we?
Oh, but she was like, I can win her over because with my enthusiasm.
I just thought she didn't show any emotion, but apparently I saw her interviewed talking about some people she liked, and I was like, oh, that's what she's like when she likes music.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. It wasn't. That was a time where she wasn't. I mean, she wasn't a fan. Yeah, that whole thing was just weird because like Lars got a vanity label. They were like they made up for like a quarter of all of Wia's income at the time. It was like the late '90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they dominated radio, and they were just like. So he wanted a label that they paid for everything and then split the profits.
Okay.
And so they weren't going to, that wasn't going to work.
No.
So they made it not work.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
You know what I mean?
Yes,
I don't mean that we had hits that never came out. I don't think we were in the right time, but nothing that he tried to do in that couple of years. It was all just like,
bummer.
And everything he got for everyone, he kind of got on his own.
Okay.
So.
You got to hand him that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the industry in general. And that's the reason I left Columbia. That's why I left New York, was because I just saw too many things. I mean, would I go back tomorrow? Hell yes. But, it's you get there at 7 a.m. You don't leave till 7 or 8 at night. And, that's one thing. But I just saw too many people with talent never even get the time of day. Artists that they had signed, just it's the formula, and this. The formula is, as an artist, you work on writing songs your whole life, or you walk in with this wonderful catalog of stuff, and they sign you, and you think you're going to be able to do your thing, and then time for the second album, and they bring in the A&R people, and they bring in all these other writers, and they revamp your sound, and then it's not even you anymore, and then it's not you anymore, and the album flops, and then they drop you, and they keep all your money. And now you're the artist, then you're the has-been. Meanwhile, you're still the same artist. You're still the artist with all that brilliance and great ideas, and you've just been bashed down and by the system. Like
to the point where you're having a podcast in your dining room. No, I'm just joking.
With some girl just struggling and speaking reflectively and bitterly about the about the record business. But no, it's just it. And I saw that happen. And then I saw artists who were not actually singing get famous. So that pissed me off. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is not what I signed up for.
Right.
I'm in it for the music.
Once you see how the sausage is made in this thing, it's fascinating. And you have a new fascination for the record business on a different level. But as the artist yourself, it's real gross when you're in it. Because plus you think everyone's your friend. Remember that Wilco movie, I'm Trying to Break Your Heart?
I didn't see that.
It was black and white. It was like in the early 2000s.
Cool. No, I didn't see that.
Well, when they got dropped, it's like in the documentary. And like there's a thing that he says where he's like, man, the thing is like, I understand the business part of it, but like, I thought those guys were my friends. And that's the part that's so sad, because us artists, we really do think we've got all these friends.
I'm sitting because
It's a couple of them. I still got it. You know who I'm friends with? All the publicists that were every publicist that was working when we were on that label is still.
That's nice.
I still talk to them monthly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sad.
Yeah.
And scary.
Scary
and
word.
true.
Yeah.
And true. Yeah. Like I like the artists that we had on Columbia that that aren't. You don't hear from them anymore, and then if you do hear from them, it's a sad story. It's like, oh my God, like don't take their word for it.
Yeah.
And still, and that's why when I hear an artist talking today, I just want to get signed, and I'm like, but do you? I mean, yes, you do, but
I mean, now.
Much better if it's in your own hands and you have the
Yeah. Then they don't give you that much money anymore.
No.
Now, I have friends that have gotten signed where you're like, oh, that's what they gave you? Oh my God. Like, it's like 3 dinners in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Oh God, the 90s, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. The limos.
Expense accounts.
Accounts, Christmas bonuses.
It was almost more fun being a band that hadn't been signed because you get all the dinners. Seriously.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It was. Those dinner, I did become a dinner. There was like a few dinner guys, like the fastball guys were dinner guys, and you go to the same dinners with them.
The fastball guys,
the guys from fastball. Yeah,
I love fastball.
Yeah, me too. So, let me ask you this: are you looking at the notes?
No, I'm looking at those little color things. What are those? No, I can't read the notes from here for the record. There's like blue and red.
Yeah,
and
they
yellow.
changed the sounds. That's why it's called the Fun Machine. That's the Baldwin Fun Machine.
That?
That's the name of it.
That is not customized. That is you. That came like that.
I came like that.
That's friggin' cool.
I love rainbow buttons. I love aesthetic things.
That's super aesthetic.
I like boards. I like moving faders. I like turning knobs. I miss all of that stuff with modern recording and stuff. Did you ever get into music? I mean, did you ever hang out in studios and
like producing music?
Not producing, but like being part of the. Sometimes label people go down there.
Yeah. Some things. And I thought you were talking more like reel to reel, quarter-inch cutting, editing. Yes.
You did?
That's how I learned how to
of course.
edit was reel to reel.
Oh yeah, and you got in radio when there was carts. Right?
Carts, yeah. I still have some carts.
You do?
Which I won't play them on anything, but yeah, carts. I missed the record thing.
Yeah,
but I got the carts.
You got the carts
and the what were they called? Anyway, besides the CDs, but there was something else. There was something in between. I can't think of it now. It was like a little cartridge thing that had music on it. I don't know, that we played. It was really clean. I mean, obviously I do this talk show thing, but I've always loved radio. I've always loved every minute I've ever been a guest on something. Like, very excited. Radio's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Do you ever listen to Little Steven's Underground Garage?
I don't have the
Sirius
nope.
XM. That station probably reinstated my faith in radio in general.
Yeah,
because the jocks on that station love what they play.
Yeah,
and the majority of them have know the artist personally or were in a band at the same time, and they just talk about the scene. And this speaks so respectfully about rock and roll and the origins of it and all that cool stuff.
I had a lovely evening hanging out with him.
Who?
At a show, Little Steven. Good guy, and he played my jam on his show.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, he did.
Friggin'.
He spun my song back of a magazine. Yeah, he's super cool. Do you know the producer guy, Lars Goranson, who lives here, the Swedish guy? He's awesome. What about Jan Merkin? You know Merkin?
I know the name.
Yeah. She's a music person.
Oh, okay.
She's kind of dumb. She jumped ship.
What does
she has like an import-export business and horses, and she's a rich lady now. She knew what she was doing. She got out while she could.
Out of radio.
She was a manager. She managed Ian Moore. She managed my band, Mr. Rocket Baby. And
maybe that's why I've heard her.
Very close friends, but she brought him to this show.
And, fantastic.
And I ended up hanging out with him. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, he's pretty awesome. He's got some kind of an educational foundation where he teaches history through music.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like I'm glad that he's imparting his wisdom onto other people, because when he goes, who's going to be that guy?
I know.
Who's going to be the walking encyclopedia of like
Oh my God.
a garage rock and soul from the 60s? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Because he's really fucking like knowledgeable about that stuff.
Super knowledgeable. I
Yeah.
love his stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to have some kind of show? Like if someone said like, "Hey, we'll give you a couple hours on some radio station," would you do that?
If it was
Take
the
your
right,
format of Lauri Radio to something?
if it was the right station.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, this is gonna sound like I made it up on purpose, but like if it benefited the artist that I was playing to be played on a different
Yeah.
station, because I got nothing to win or lose.
Yeah.
Really. So if it was something that was like gonna give the artist a bigger platform or something, yeah, that would be super cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just have to be the right thing.
I always wonder because we set out to do these things on our own. And it's weird because when I very first started this, I got weird offers like that from a couple of stations.
Okay.
And they were such watered down versions that I
Yeah.
kind of felt like, no, because then I'm not doing what I do.
Right.
I mean, I do want to reach a bigger audience, but not like that. Not doing something that I don't do.
No.
Yeah.
I know. It's kind of like the Instagram follower thing. It's
Yeah.
like I go through and delete so many fake followers
Yeah.
every week. And so like every follower that I have is hard earned and knows exactly what they're following.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't care about how many
Yeah.
followers I have. Like as long as the people who actually follow give a shit about the music I'm playing.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. And I have so many artists that are following me, which makes my day.
Yeah. I like that about your. Yeah. Well, when I started listening to it's an attractive format. Like you hear the soul of it. Like I think that's why artists are digging it. Like you're listening to this music and you get it. And if it resonates with you, then fuck yeah, why not listen to it all the time? I
Well,
cuss
good.
so much. I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's
I do
another
too.
reason why I wouldn't want to be on the radio.
I know. I
Dude,
know.
now when I go on the radio, it's awful. Like I'm just sitting there going like, don't say fuck, don't say fuck, don't say fuck.
Oh yeah, I do it all the time. And I interviewed Fea, which is Fea is San Antonio's Chicana punk band, and Fea is sort of what came out of Girl in a Coma.
Okay.
Girl in a Coma.
Okay. Yeah, I was just about to ask if you had those guys on there.
Yeah. And when I did a really cool interview series with them. They're amazing women.
Amazing.
I love.
I only
them.
know Nina.
Oh, okay. Well, Nina's sister Fani, who's on
Right,
drums, and Jen Alva, who's on bass, who both did bass for Girl in a Coma. Now, Fani and Jen have a new band, and it's Fea.
Okay.
And they have Leti Martinez on lead vocal.
Okay.
And then Adrian Connor on guitar.
Okay.
And so they're a four-piece now. And Fea.
From Adrian and the Sickness? No. Sorry.
Yeah.
It is?
Wait. She's
No.
got like 3 or 4 different projects. She's also in Hell's Bells.
I think so.
Adrian,
Maybe.
the
Guitar player?
Yeah, Dreads.
Yeah. Adrian and the Sickness.
Yes, because
Yeah.
I've listened to some of her stuff.
Yeah. It seems like you would
It's
play
her.
Yeah.
It's her. Okay,
I think
amazing.
I got turned on to them through Kathy Valentine. And I are good friends, and I have a band with Kathy.
Oh,
That's very loose, but it's like a garage rock band. That's the Blue Bonnets and me, but me singing.
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It was called Johnny in the Ladies' Room at first, and then Kathy changed it to Lady Band Johnson because they're the Lady Band and I have the Johnson. And when I
Oh,
laughed,
that's
this is what she
funny.
said. Well, I hope you have a Johnson. Do you ever have her on your show?
God, I
Yeah.
wish. I need to. I would. That's.
She'll do it, man.
Reach out and ask her to do a little interview.
I'll introduce you guys. Yeah, she would love to do that, man.
Oh, my
She's in England right now. Her dog died this weekend, and her mom died earlier this year. So she
I
went
knew
to go
about her mom.
cool out
Oh shit! I did not.
for the rest of the year in another country.
That
She's
hurts me.
decompressing. Yeah,
I know.
I know.
Oh god, I saw the pictures of her and her mom. It just broke my heart. Oh my god.
I loved her. She's a really nice woman. Her mom,
Yeah,
really
she
nice.
seemed
I
like
saw her
it.
earlier this year. Saw her at a thing.
Hell.
That was just normal seeing her. Yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway.
Adrian Sophia, and but the whole point about that was, Fani was like, "Can I cuss on your station?" I was
Yeah.
like, "Hell, yeah, of course," because
Yeah.
it's streaming, which
Yeah.
is, and that's the other thing I like to. One of the things that I like to quote unquote brag about with the station is that I play the original versions. I don't play radio versions, radio edits. If there's a F-bomb in the song, then she wrote it that way.
Yeah.
Play it.
Yeah.
Play it like that. It's no fun. If it's so distracting when they play whatever those versions are of tunes. So yeah. So you can cuss away.
Okay, thank you. I'll continue cussing.
Please do.
Is there, before we go, is there any, are there any new artists that you've come across that you're like, this is my artist of 2022?
Wow. There's so many.
A couple? You don't have to leave anybody out. Did I
name,
put you on the spot?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out because they're. I think I mentioned Broken Baby. We talked about Ammo and the Sniffers.
Yes.
We talked about the Bobby Lees. We talked about Faya. These are all bands that
Dead Coats.
The Dead Coats.
New band.
Sweet Spirit, but Dead Coats are technically a new band. I feel like they've been at it for a while, and but people are still finding out about them, and hopefully continue to do so.
Yeah.
Bruiser Queen. I'm trying to think. I think.
People should go and just listen to lauriradio.com because I went and checked out who I was listening. I didn't write it down, but I would hear something and be like, what is that? And go, that's a great thing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try and... If I find a new artist, I will go and listen to all of their albums or sample all of their albums and pick whatever song I think... like pick what I think is... like a hit. I hate to say that I pick a hit. It's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for listening and checking it out.
Of course. Is there anything that I'm missing? Is there anything you want to tell? There's the Rebel Girl Reset on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m., which I imagine is for those of you that can't handle all the rock all the time. You get the 1 hour to just kind of chill out.
It's just chill tunes, acoustics and chill, sometimes some standards, just vocal stuff, cool stuff. Just chills, just to reflect and reset. And the rest of the time, it's...
Do you do Christmas programming?
I do. I got one song an hour right now.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, so you're already in it.
Oh, hell yeah. Started on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah.
Do you do the Pretenders one?
Yes.
Okay.
2,000 miles. Or yeah, I play that. Yeah. Right now, it's just one an hour, but that'll increase. And I am trying to only play like punk and alternative Christmas holiday tunes right now because it does sound like a fart in church to like be listening to punk and then all of a sudden like this. What? Speaking of fart in church,
Baby It's Cold Outside came on from I think it was from Elf.
That's just like a movie drop.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I play movie drop, the holiday movie drops too. Yes, thank you for yes. One of the few male voices you'll hear on my on my station is like the holiday drops. But yeah. Mostly punk and alternative right now, but then I'm going to start adding I will class it up a little bit with some Ella Fitzgerald or, Darlene Love or some really cool Christmas standard because it's the holidays.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It is okay.
I love holiday music.
You do?
Friggin' love it.
I'm over it. I feel like it's just been going on so long.
I don't care. I can't wait every
There's
year.
no new ones.
There are new ones, but they're not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love holiday tunes.
I did one for something recently.
You did?
Yeah, but I always did like weird. 2,000 miles. I've done that before.
Nice.
I did Santa Claus is Coming to Town for my grandma because somebody asked me to do a Christmas song for this album, and I was like, I hate that song, but she loves it so much, and I loved the special when I was a kid, and that's why she loves it. So it's like this whole like, it's because of each other that we love it. You know what I mean? So I did it, and it makes her happy. She listens to it.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ by Big Star. That's what I did. You know that song?
No.
It's not really a Christmas song, but the chorus goes, Jesus Christ was born today. So it's Christmas. It's really good. You like Big Star?
Wait, is it sort of like this big old sound? The song has a big sound to it. Oh, I love that song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
Am I thinking of the right one? I must be.
It's on the Third Sister album, the one that never really came out until the 90s.
I'll have to check.
Yeah.
I'll have to, but if it's the song I'm thinking about, I love that tune.
Yeah, me too. Rosie. She's got her foot under the microphone stand. She's awesome. She really cools out after a while, doesn't she?
She does. Yeah.
Lauri, this has been great talking to you.
Likewise.
I've really enjoyed it. I really appreciate what you do, and
thank you.
I'll keep on listening and telling people about it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, people
Thank
can
you.
people can go to lauriradio.com. I'll put a link to it in the text of this stuff.
And I now have an app. There's an
What?
app.
No way.
The iOS app is being cooked. It takes forever.
Okay.
I prefer Apple. I'm an Apple person.
Okay.
But the
don't
Android app is ready for download. Just go
really?
to your Google Play Store, and you can stream from your app at any time, 24/7. You can stream anyway on LauriRadio.com if
Right,
you have
but
a
it's
browser.
probably a little easier with the app.
It is. It's
I'm going to
kinda
download
cool.
the app. I have an Android.
You should.
I just said Android like an English person. I have an Android.
What's Android?
I've got an Android. Lori, I've got an Android.
Right.
Lori Radio. Your last name is Pearson or Person?
Pearson.
Pearson. Really nice to meet you.
Likewise. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. People get out there and listen to LauriRadio.com. That's Lauri Pearson from Lauri Radio, LauriRadio.com. An app is available now, too, so you can just download it, listen to it, check in whenever you want. Fantastic person. I really enjoyed talking to her. Really enjoyed I'm glad there's someone like that out there. Lauri, I'm glad you're out there. All right, hey, gang, when you're out there checking out LauriRadio.com, don't forget that you can subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, TuneIn, Stitcher, anywhere you get podcasts, new podcasts every Tuesday, every Friday. Also, we've been dropping the From the Vaults at midnight on Saturday. So you wake up Sunday morning, check it out. There's an old conversation with me and somebody great. Me and somebody great. All right? Have a great weekend, whatever it is you're doing. Check out LauriRadio.com. Enjoy some music on there, and have a great weekend. Let's get down.